Absolutely. Now I'm also taking a quick look at chat, and it looks like the chat's prediction is 93% in favor of k1llsen, and 7% are hoping to win big by betting on the underdog. So let's see what psygib can do. We're starting off on k1llsen's point of view, immediately bringing out that peeker, knowing very well that psygib has got very little to counter it, and that's a free 50 points of damage. Look at the confidence on k1llsen's end. This is risky though, he doesn't have heavy machine gun. And somehow he still gets it! 40, he should not have won that. He should not have won that fight.
He just didn't care. He believed it was full focus. And it's the full frag for k1llsen as he's up 1-0 early as the machine gun wars open us up here. And up close and personal, the shotgun not quite on target. Has to make a mad dash for the Mega, and he's able to get to it before he gets gunned down by psygib.
So aggressive with the super shotgun. We all know that's his Achilles heel. He's so vulnerable to these blasts. Oh, is it starting to snowball?
Oh, no. Throw in the towel. I'm gonna vomit.
We're only 50 seconds into this map, and k1llsen's already found himself multiple spawn frags. But hang on, psygib making good use of that air control, steering himself back into the heavy. That allowed him to get that frag.
So that's what you want to see if you're a psygib fan. Stopping the bleeding for the time being, but now he's stuck behind the LG doing good machine gun work to get out. Very, very weak. Can't be too telegraphed with this, and the rocket is in k1llsen's chest.
Like, k1llsen definitely overstayed his welcome in these fights, especially the first one, which he managed to win against all odds, but he's got to be careful. Yes, he's got a sizable lead. Yes, he is the clear favorite to win this one, but he's just pushing in with 20 points of health. You know, one defensive rocket by psygib could easily turn the tide. Oh, but not when he keeps playing like this. psygib, too predictable. And k1llsen will punish that time and time again.
And I know that a lot of the pros, if not all of them, have mastery over the spawns, but it feels like on this map specifically, k1llsen can just run those spawn frags at will. Especially if you die in the mid ground, it's just so telegraphed, and k1llsen can read it well, time it well, and that really is what separates him from the other pros here, as he's up by 5. psygib can't be caught out at any of these majors, and none of them are going to spawn for a while, as k1llsen can just hunt his prey right now in between the majors. Oh, wow!
Nice! And this is a really dangerous part of the map for psygib, because k1llsen has got full control of the items. And this is kind of how Corrupted Keep tends to flow, right? It's pretty balanced for the first few minutes. Yes, there may be a few spawn frags, but it's only when one of the players gets both Mega and Heavy under their control and starts just running the map because of how small it is, that things really go awry. And that is what k1llsen is going for right now. Mega Heavy. He's got perfect control of the both of them. And he's got plenty of time in between to hunt out psygib. So the American has got to find some opportunity to break this.
Trying to land some rocket damage around the corner here, as he has no armor to his name. psygib just staying alive, LG in hand. Sneaking around, and he does evade long enough to get an armor shard. Uses the inject as a pocket Mega. I think he's going to take this fight onto the heavy and see if he can do at least some damage. There goes k1llsen through. There's the swap to rockets. Big damage. The shotgun not quite landing for k1llsen, except not yet. Not soon enough. As psygib does enough damage to try and fight for this. Can he land the damage? And he can't flee.
It wasn't a bad choice to go aggressive there, because he had done a hell of a lot of damage in the previous engagements. But k1llsen, the rocket, getting the bounce into the super shotgun, just cleaned it up and sealed the deal nicely. Yeah, k1llsen has got to back up into that small armor. Didn't quite get the rocket jump right earlier. And it looks like almost nothing happens, right? psygib managed to disrupt k1llsen's flow for what? Feels like 10-20 seconds, and now k1llsen's firmly back in the driver's seat. Oh, psygib
nothing
literally
but scratch. How do you get back from this, Flea? You're 5 minutes in, you're down 11. Maybe 12 right here. The jumping shotgun, is it going to come up big? It is! Okay. There's a little something, something.
That's how you get back into it, 40. Getting a good frag just before a major item spawns. But now he has to be careful, though. psygib, he's got to show some restraint. Jumping around the map like that, k1llsen is just pummeling him in terms of damage output. And psygib just really not finding his groove. 19% LG accuracy by psygib. That is unusual. k1llsen hitting 42. You don't see that very often. psygib, he's a brawler. His LG is usually very solid, but this time around he's just really not landing the shots, and much of that has to do with the fact that k1llsen isn't giving him the opportunity to. But even then, like, look, psygib, his aim was so off in the first half of that fight. Don't really know what's happening to him, and it's not really the ping issue either, because it's k1llsen who has the highest ping in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, a bit curious here is the Rockets. Okay, they land right before the heavy pickup. He is a little bit weak, but he's going to have bubbles to work with here. But is k1llsen going to re-aggress immediately to try and get the refrag? He's got such a big lead, I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to throw a body or two, but he doesn't need to with 4 minutes. He's still going to play composed. He's going to just chip away at this Mega. There's the pocket inject used by psygib to try and fend off k1llsen. k1llsen relentless with the damage here. Going up the jump pad, getting caught out with LG just for a tickle, though. And after all that, steals away the heavy as psygib gets caught in the red room looking for an armor shard. Just doesn't make the rotation quick enough to grab that major.
At least things are balanced out a little better than they were earlier, right? This is much more of an even fight than 3 minutes ago or so when k1llsen was just running everything. He was in full control of all the items. So psygib, he is on more equal footing right now, but he's got to be careful because look at this. k1llsen takes away heavy. 15 seconds before Mega. Could make a play for it as well. The big detriment to k1llsen's game right now is that he doesn't have the LG.
Oh! To the
Almost
window, to the wall, till the Rockets, well, fall in his lap as psygib with 2 beautiful hundos and then a little bit of a tickle to finish it. But is it enough, Flea? 8 frags, less than 3 minutes.
I don't know about that one, 40. It's an uphill battle. And it's a steep hill. This ain't a hill, this is the Mount Everest, and that's a lot. psygib, can he do it? Bit of a stalemate going on right now. Both players just waiting out the Mega, but it is once again k1llsen who gets away with it. psygib always trailing. Let's take another look at the items picked up. 19 majors for k1llsen versus 12 by psygib. But the unusual thing, 40, is that k1llsen, the one who was in control for most of the game, also has more of the smaller armors picked up. And that's usually not something you see. It tends to be the player out of control who's able to take up most of the small items. And that is just a testament to how aggressive k1llsen has been. He keeps on taking fights in between picking up the majors and then just restacking with those small items as well, thereby denying them to psygib.
Oh no, and after all that, it was just a matter of time. Flea psygib was dead to rights. And k1llsen playing with his food a little bit, let's be honest. Up 10 frags. And I think this one is toast, unfortunately, for psygib. But he did put up a little bit of a fight, but in the end, it was just a blip on the radar for k1llsen, looking so strong. Fantastic rocket, a little bit of machine gun to add salt to the wound as the inject comes out from psygib. And at this point, just hugging the ropes for the last minute, trying to mentally reset before we get into map number 2. This one was just not on the cards for him. Big rockets, though. The saving grace of this entire map is that, okay, I mean, a little bit of that, too, as k1llsen goes for a dip, but it's hot. The rockets from psygib have been on point. As you mentioned earlier, the LG lackluster, which is alarming, but the rockets have been very, very solid for the most part.
One player whose LG is not lackluster is k1llsen, 46% against an Anarchy, after having dealt over 2,000 points of damage. There's just a very interesting discrepancy there. If you look at the damage output, k1llsen has largely ignored rockets in favor of LG, when it comes down to psygib, it's the complete opposite. Psygib has done more than twice as much damage with the rockets as he has with LG, and I think that just shows that k1llsen has done a much better job at commandeering these fights, right? He keeps at the right distance with the lightning gun, where psygib is firing those rockets hoping to connect, but just not working out for him.
Look at that. A little bit of hydration there as k1llsen's exhausted after that beatdown. Big plays from k1llsen. 19-8 is going to be the map score for Corrupted Keep, map number 1 between these two. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we thought it'd go. We saw, again, a little bit of a surge from psygib to fight back, and then in the end, it was just all the k1llsen show on Corrupted Keep. Really, really well played. Championship level play from k1llsen. And we're going to take a look at the highlights. But, I mean, I don't know. What do you do to try and adjust mid-series if you're psygib right now, Flea?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? How do you deal with your opponent just outmaneuvering you, out-aiming you, out-controlling you on those items? There's very, very little that you actually can do. psygib just has to go for a bit of a complete reset. Now on map 2, he will have a bit of a stack advantage, right? Because he will be running Ranger versus Nyx on Insomnia. And that is going to help him out a bit, because on map 1 it was the opposite. k1llsen had the higher starting stack, whereas psygib was of course on the back foot of the spawn, having 0 armor to his name as Anarchy. So now things are reversed and he has that advantage going into this map. Plus, as I mentioned earlier, I think that in a lot of players' opinions at least, Ranger is still the single best pick on Insomnia. Giving you that orb, right? You have that burst damage potential up close, but also a bit further, as we saw earlier today, on Razy's point of view. Plus, it helps you stay in control of some key parts of this map. Insomnia is not the easiest to traverse, right? There's a few of those teleporters, tricky bounce pads, some interesting jumps, right, over to where the railgun used to be, and the orb can help out massively. So I think that he's really got to lean into the advantage that he has with the orb and that extra stack.
I think you're absolutely spot on, and I think that is exactly what he has to do. But in the end, at the end of the day, all I think about is k1llsen and Nyx name a better duo. Like, k1llsen, an absolute connoisseur on Nyx, and we might just see another k1llsen frag highlight reel here on Insomnia is what I'm worried about, because that first map was a little brutal. Again, new map, new mentality, have to start fresh. If you're a psygib fan, let's actually take a look. How many diehards do we have out there? Taking a look at the predictions, 7%. Lucky number 7, Flea. We'll see. We'll see.
Same as last map. Yeah, let's see. Ooh, I'm seeing a drop. 44%.
It's because I called it out.
God,
yeah, I messed it up.
40.
Why
you
am I
gotta
so
hype
bad
up
at
NA.
everything?
Man, we love you. We love you. We really do. As we are loading into map 2, things are about to get underway. k1llsen had a very decisive victory on map 1. Now let's see map 2, Insomnia. First time we're seeing the latest map being added to the pool come into play today. So let's see. Can psygib maybe cause an upset on a map that players aren't as familiar with as some of the others?
I mean, do you think if he's going to win a map in the set, this is going to be the one? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know how much he's played it, to be honest.
That scale bearer on Awoken is such a wild card for me that it's very, very difficult to call. But looking at the champions, I feel like he has a better chance to win this one than he did on map 1, right? I was immediately skeptical of the Anarchy pick on Corrupted Keep, so this should help him out a lot more.
We are number 2, starting off on k1llsen, who again has that Nyx. And has that big old delay on the heavy. Just a nice little 6-second one. More importantly, getting all the weapons he needs to fight just in the blink of an eye. The unholy trinity at k1llsen's disposal. psygib well equipped as well. Orb in hand and might set a trap right around the corner, but just doesn't even land the initial damage to warrant a ghost walk being popped. And that might be the key here, as k1llsen, brave, takes the peak, hits the rail positions well for this, and that's why the delay was so big, Flea. But look at this! Up the jump pad, but the shotgun misses, but okay. He redeems himself with the second shotgun blast, but there was a glimmer of hope for psygib there for a moment.
psygib knows exactly where k1llsen is at right now. He's so patient, waiting for his opponent to leave before he actually makes a move through the teleporter. He's positioned nicely for Mega as well. k1llsen can't make it there on time, so that will definitely be going in favor of the American. But Heavy, that's a different story altogether. Looks like both players are pretty content just going for their own major item. But what psygib is missing right now is the rail. Look at him going aggressive, perhaps a bit too aggressive. k1llsen read him like an open book, knew that he wanted to complete his armory. And it cost him dearly.
Oh no, and he misses the jump, so k1llsen will win out on the Mega and should be able to get a clean path to the Heavy, and that's very unfortunate for psygib how that just went. He's just going to get locked out of the map now, Flea. k1llsen taking his time, even grabbing the armor shard to deny even more resources from psygib.
This could indeed be a critical point for k1llsen. Same thing happened on the previous map. There was that one moment where k1llsen gets the leg up over his opponent at just the right time, and he then converts it into full control. Ghostwalk has been popped. Oh, psygib didn't hear it. Still not too bad. Good shotty. There we go. Another one for good measure. As he takes away the Heavy, but he's down to 9 points of health. k1llsen isn't going to let him get away with that one. But he is weak. Not weak enough though. 2 rails back to back, and that is going to hurt psygib as k1llsen extends his lead.
There was an attempt by psygib, but it was
No.
bit careless as the flick of the wrist. Gets k1llsen his 5th frag and almost gets a highlight reel off the spawn, but instead k1llsen takes out k1llsen with the aggression of psygib, the rocket. Take him out, so psygib relentless, might get this frag going through the telly and enough stack to be able to take that damage. And still in this one, psygib. It's not going k1llsen's way. Again, as a light champion, doesn't really have a lot of stack to play with. Off the spawn, and there's the Dire Orb. And Flea, this is a 1 frag game just like that.
Absolutely, turning it around real quick. In position for Heavy as well, and k1llsen just doesn't really have any weapons to fight with. Doesn't have rocket, doesn't have LG or rail, so he can't stick around. And now psygib, full control. Let's take a look at the damage output. k1llsen dealing more damage and securing more items, but this could very well be a turning point for psygib.
And what a boost it would be to take a map off of k1llsen. Not only a map, but going into the 3rd with the potential for a series victory over k1llsen, the #1 ranked player in the league right now. Still, a lot of time before that's decided, but only trailing by 1. That's not a bad start here, as psygib is able to scoop up that Heavy. k1llsen waiting patiently by the Mega, setting up a nice rail angle if the jump pad's taken, but it looks like psygib is going to take the opposite hallway. And a rail for his troubles. There's a rocket placed, misses with the rail, but there's the Dire Orb, there's the cutoff, and the Ghostwalk will be used, and psygib will win out on that Mega. So the aggressive play, baiting out the Ghostwalk, putting the pressure on, and k1llsen has to oblige.
That was a brilliant push by psygib right there. Just orbing straight onto it, knowing that k1llsen still had that railgun in his hand. Timed perfectly as well, forcing out the Ghostwalk just before Mega spawned. There we go, some nice railgun action as well. k1llsen doesn't have the Ghostwalk yet, but can he push through the choke point? A little too dangerous. psygib wisely decides against it. He's starting to get into the swing of things, 40, and he doesn't want to give it up. Doesn't want to drop any unnecessary frags right now, so he's gonna stick to his guns, try to play the items for now.
Is he going to Dire Orb in for this Heavy? k1llsen grabs the armor shard. That's actually going to make noise, and he's going to be able to go in. And there's the Dire Orb to play aggressive, and just like that, the Ghostwalk immediately popped.
Definitely seeing a bit of a pattern here, right? k1llsen defensively hanging back with rail. psygib forcing out the fight, going in aggro with the orb, and then k1llsen just popping the Ghostwalk and making himself invisible on the map once again. If this keeps up, psygib will tie up the game, because k1llsen is not going to be able to continue evading him forever.
It's only a matter of time before psygib can break through this defense of k1llsen here. The Tri-Bolt not quite landing. Ghostwalk in pocket. If things go horribly wrong, he will take a rail. Going up the jump pad, and there's going to be no item on this side for 13 seconds. So k1llsen caught in a precarious position here as the Mega goes to psygib, and now he can take a sweet time to get around the map. Does have to make sure he gets back in time, and k1llsen just using the sound keys to maybe deal damage and get out. There's a good rail, and just like that, he's out of there for the armor shard. And psygib gets what he wants too, but at the end of the day, k1llsen maintaining this 1 frag lead, playing hyper defensive, Setting the traps. Doesn't get a ton of damage, but he wants to kill right here. This is it. There's the rocket jump. Beautiful wall jump, and look at that Flea. Perfect execution. Hits the initial damage to Ghost Walk follow-up and steals away the Mega. That was beautifully played by k1llsen.
psygib just lost track of k1llsen completely right there. Had no idea that the German player was set up underneath him, waiting in that hallway, and then rockets, combos. The aggressive push with the Ghost Walk. Really well played by k1llsen. Nice rail. One more should do it. Ghost Walk has been used, and psygib heard that. He heard k1llsen come out of the Ghost Walk. He needs to push this. There we go. Shoddy will clean it up. That's exactly what he needs to do. Force out the Ghost Walk, preferably without the orb, and then save it for the actual chase when he knows that k1llsen doesn't have that trump card anymore.
Still a frag separating these two players here as the rail just missing out from psygib.
Oh.
k1llsen does get himself another Mega. A little bit of rocket splash for psygib here as he's able to grab 25 to restore the health to max. But he wants this heavy, and he wants it now. Aggressive Ghost Walk play. There he is. He's behind you. There's the Dire Orb, and no, k1llsen has it red this time. He's prepared, and he's able to punish appropriately, and that's going to extend the lead to 2. And now psygib wants a little bit more, but the LG is going to throw him back in the choke point in the blood pool, and psygib takes out psygib.
That aggressive Ghost Walk 40, that was genius. The reason that k1llsen went for that is because he knew that psygib didn't have the right weapons yet. That is the main deciding factor in that one. All that psygib had was the railgun. k1llsen knew that he didn't have rockets, didn't have LG, had nothing to take that fight with, and that is why he went in with the aggressive Ghost Walk. Otherwise, there's no way that he would do that. He rolled on to that ability and wait, keep it defensively, knowing that he is in the lead, but still, to go for that after that hard of a read, that's just absolutely brilliant, and why k1llsen is one of the absolute best in the world.
Wow, and the machine gun actually gets that frag for psygib as k1llsen a little bit loose on that play. Minute and 20, but he's positioned well off the spawn, grabs the rail, and now he's just defending this heavy. Is psygib going to make a dash for it? He doesn't have the Dire Orb. Shoulder peaks, and he's able to get in on that heavy and actually gets some damage as k1llsen strafes back into those plasma. So 3 frags, 1 minute, and psygib defragging his way to the Mega eventually here, a little bit early, and I think k1llsen's more than happy to play defensive now with this 3-frag lead, Flea.
Yeah, he has the Ghost Walk up as well. Nice defensive rail. psygib has to take his time in the blood pool just to make sure he can tank another one. k1llsen's sticking around. I like what he's doing. Not going full defensive just yet. Doesn't just press that panic button at the first sign of trouble, but holds his ground. Goes for a few more rails. And uses it only when he really has to.
Oh,
this is still possible.
Big shotgun blast. Yeah, he ran out of rockets. Shotgun was the optimal play there. Great rail off the spawn. Here's the chase. No Ghost Walk available for k1llsen. So now this is actually danger territory. If psygib can just find the angle, he does have Dire Orb. The shotgun around the corner, is it going to be enough? And no, I think with that evasion, psygib will not be able to. There's just not enough time. Plants him, but that's it. 7-6, and that one was very, very close, Flea.
That absolutely could have been a comeback, because of course Nyx, right, doesn't have any armor to her name upon the respawn. She's a light, squishy champion. So once k1llsen burns that Ghost Walk, sticks around to try and kind of take the fight right there, right? What happens then is, well, he drops 1 frag, respawns 44 seconds before he has his next Ghost Walk. If psygib can find him then, land the rail, which he did, and then chase him down, he would be in a really good position to at least tie up the game. But unfortunately, k1llsen managed to outmaneuver him slightly, stay just out of his line of sight rather, and clutch it out in the end. So that guarantees the player representing Team Big Esports his win in this series.
Yeah, well deserved, but big shouts to psygib. Map number 2, extremely close. Yep. He had, I want to say, I took a quick look, 20+ major items in favor of psygib, but that just goes to show that k1llsen can play around those items and just deal damage. He doesn't need to pick them up, and he could still walk away with a victory almost at k1llsen. As k1llsen just a championship play again. This one was a little bit close for comfort, I'm sure, But at the end of the day, he did what he needed to pull it out. 7-6 as we take a look at the summary and the stats here for k1llsen versus psygib on map number 2. And we're still going to map number 3, and we are going to see that, I guess, unorthodox is a way to put it, Scale Bear pick on psygib's side on Awoken going up against the Blazkowicz for k1llsen.
Just look at the damage though, the accuracy by k1llsen. 55% LG, 59% rail. Man is on fire. And indeed, let's see if that will carry over into the final map for you. You said it yourself. Awoken, BJ versus Scale. And Scale on Awoken. That's something you almost never see, right? I said at the beginning, I had to do a double take and check if we weren't playing Ruins instead. But no, it is indeed Awoken. I'm looking at it right now in the game lobby. So I'm curious what psygib's battle plan is here, because this is a tricky map to maneuver Scale around on, right? There's a lot of places, bounce pads, ledges that go up, jumps that you have to make that will kill a lot of that speed and will make it difficult to make much use out of that bull rush. So I'm curious to see what his plan is here.
Yeah, very curious to see if he has a little bit of magic or if it was just maybe a comfort pick. Like, you know, hey, I have more stack off the spawn. I could throw my weight around a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be able to overcome whatever k1llsen has in store, because k1llsen's just playing so solid. I mean, we saw even when he's tested, he's just willing to play defensive, deal damage on the items, and he's still comfortable is maybe a strong word, but he's still firmly in control of the situation even when it looks like he's not. So k1llsen playing at the championship level that we expect, but map number 3, you know, Scale Bear, the wild card. I'm sure Wheat's rolling his eyes. He's like, he sucks. This is going to be easy for k1llsen, but I don't know. With Scale, you never know. The bull rush, the shoulder charge, it can make some magic. It can make some absolutely insane magic.
That hitbox, though, the size of it, that could be an issue, right? First, k1llsen, ridiculous damage output. I think it was something like 47% on an Anarchy with the LG. On an Anarchy, map 2 on a medium champion, the Ranger, it was what, 55%? Now, with BJ dual-wielding the LG on a champion the size of Scale, I don't know about that 140. I'm expecting to see some huge damage numbers this time around.
Well, we might, as we are live on map number 3 between k1llsen and psygib. And I guess it's so close to call that there are no predictions. A lot of people think it's just effortless. So we'll see. 0-0 is how we're going to start this one. Nothing too crazy in the first 10 seconds. No bull rush, no shenanigans, but a great rail there from k1llsen. As the tri-bolt wards him off, he was going for a little bit more there, trying to keep the pressure on early. Again, does have to melt through a bit more of a stack playing against the Scale, but I think k1llsen is up to the task here, Flea.
It may very well be. There's almost no delay between the items. k1llsen setting up for heavy. Oh, psygib. Yeah, I think k1llsen was like, oh, you're pretty far away from Mega. I think he was considering just going for a rocket jump through the doorway, trying to challenge his opponent near the Mega. But currently, psygib is definitely the one doing most of the damage here. Good rails, good tri-bolt, keeping k1llsen at bay. And the German player is only at base stack right now, and psygib is looking a lot healthier than that.
Easy Mega for psygib there. Still has the bull rush in the pocket. k1llsen just lying away with T-Con. This could be a big opportunity for damage, but psygib doesn't even make it through the doorway to attempt the bull rush, so the rocket's warding him off before... Oh, from behind! Nice little 180 rail from psygib. That could have been real bad, as you saw all that damage come out immediately from the dual wield. Great rail follow-up from psygib, but k1llsen hits one of his own as they trade items, and now k1llsen has him dead to rights. What a rail there to take that first frag, and just really well played from k1llsen.
These are just top-level plays. It's like that ghost walk on the previous map. k1llsen timing his ability so perfectly just as he goes up the bounce pad. psygib with his back turned. 168 damage out of nowhere. Oh, both players are weak, but no! k1llsen still ends up coming out on top, even though he is the one going up the bounce pad with less than 20 points of health. But psygib, look at these rockets. We know that rockets are his cherished weapon. And he's putting it to good use there as well.
Free LG for psygib as well, so he doesn't have to go all the way through. k1llsen waiting. Good LG. Doesn't quite get the full float, but now he's stuck The rockets are raining down, no bull rush. He's gonna go up the jump pad, and that's gonna cost him. And a little bit crazy there as he went all in for that mega, and it cost him.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. You have the dual wield, sure, but going up the bounce pad like that, that's... You're always going to be at a huge disadvantage. Maybe k1llsen figured that psygib had less stack than he really did, but still. psygib keeping it a close game. Mega's gonna be up in just 6 seconds. k1llsen looking for a way in. psygib stepped back quite a bit, mistimes the bull rush. Needed to be a second earlier to secure the mega. What? k1llsen just spinning around in circles, completely lost. Did psygib go through? Is it still there? What's up with this?
Where'd everybody go?
The frag. Yeah, just vanished.
Ooh, what a rail there. Down to 10 points of HP, and no! He clipped the wall with the plasma! It's too hot. Oh, psygib, please.
Tragic. Patient by k1llsen. Knowing that psygib is probably going to re-peak that. But he was still lingering around. Connecting the shot as well, and now he's in prime position for the heavy. And this is where it might all go wrong. So far, psygib has managed to put up a good fight, keeping it a close game, but now k1llsen, for the first time, has got an uninterrupted and very nicely balanced spread between the items. He can run both heavy and mega, one after another. Like, look at how good of a situation k1llsen is in right now, 40. He waited with picking up the mega because he still had over 140 points of health. He was like, why would I even pick this up now? I'm barely getting anything out of it.
I don't need this. I want to maximize everything, and he still is hitting everything, too. Getting the rail through the telly as psygib goes up the jump pad. Now he has to just run away. He is living off the armor shards, at the very least, which is nice. Does have the bull rush as well, but... he's essentially been forced off of the map.
And that bull rush. What would you say it has added to psygib's game so far, 40? Because there's been 2 situations or so where he actually managed to make something good out of a bull rush, but usually it just ended with his doom rig. Oh my goodness, okay. Make that 3 situations. Damn, that was nice. A little lucky that it ended that way. Good rails though. k1llsen in trouble, but so is psygib.
Oh, good defensive rocket. Is it enough? And it is! The LG follow-up. I think that 25 bubble saved his life. k1llsen flies through the telly and the thread of the needle. psygib is right back in this one. And he has a heavy at his disposal as well. He's got the speed to get out of there. Bull rush back and locked and loaded. Doesn't get the damage he'd like off of that. Does concede the mega, but all in all, pretty good run here from psygib. What the hell just happened, Flea?
Yeah, that was a little strange. psygib was definitely expecting k1llsen to fly back further after connecting the bull rush. That's why he switched to rail, but then k1llsen just kind of got clipped against the wall and stayed right in front of him. And so psygib definitely didn't end up with the right weapon for that situation. Now, something to consider also, 40, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the player cams, but k1llsen was visibly frustrated, let's put it that way, after that ring out. Let's see if that affects his game. I don't think it will. k1llsen, you know, he's always the kind of player who shows how he's feeling about the game, both positively and when things aren't going quite as well. It doesn't really tend to affect the outcome in any meaningful way.
No, definitely not afraid to show emotion while he's playing, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's an emotional player, if that makes sense. Still makes the right decisions, still plays smart, and pushing in with that LG, the shotgun blast, not getting enough damage from psygib. 4 frag lead, 3 minutes left. k1llsen looking good. He can fall back onto the mega, but not with that detour. Too much damage, too much pressure from psygib. So able to battle back and stay on top of at least some of these majors. 8 seconds until the heavy, and he only has a rail and rockets to work with and no bull rush. So this, if it comes down to a medium range fight, is not going to be in psygib's favor. He's going to go through and missing out with that rail. There's the dual wield rockets, and he's going to make a break for it. k1llsen grabbing that heavy.
This keeps up like this, I think that DJ Wheat's going to feel vindicated 40. We saw scale today, and it did not pan out the way that psygib would have liked. k1llsen, so commanding on the map right now, applying a ton of pressure.
Nice rocket. And oh, the rail from k1llsen.
57% LG, 52% rail by k1llsen. 20 items versus psygib's 9. And then, of course, more than 1,000 damage over his opponent. k1llsen is just beating him out on every single data point.
Yeah, this, again, said it before in the set, but it's the k1llsen show. There's a great rail, and now any turn that psygib takes is going to be the wrong one. The tri-bolt, the preferred weapon of choice for the situation for k1llsen as he goes up 12-4 with 1.5 minutes, and psygib, yeah, just has to hang in there for another 1.5 minutes, but this is going to be brutal here. As k1llsen looks to be taking this one 3-0, and like you said, DJ Wheat is probably smiling a little bit. I would like to start like a pool, and then that way when he loses a prediction, he has to cosplay a scale bearer, because I think that that would be fantastic. But we'll talk about that a little bit later here, so we still have 1 minute left in this one, map number 3 between psygib and k1llsen. Again, the #1 ranked player in the Quake Pro League versus the player who unfortunately is at the bottom of the rankings. And unfortunately, bottom of the barrel right now as he gets absolutely trapped and buckshotted down for the 13th frag on k1llsen's side.
And that map differential is only growing wider in k1llsen's favor, 40. Before we got into this one, I said that he almost had twice the map differential of anyone else, Rafa being the closest one to him. Well, after this series, he's done it. He's more than doubled the map win-loss ratio of literally anyone in the Quake Pro League, and that just shows how absolutely out of his mind k1llsen has been playing this season. If anyone is a prime contender to just take home the entire season, it's him.
He's been a champion before, the 2-time. Looking for a third, maybe this season is the one. Looking strong, that's going to be it. 15-4 is going to be the final tally of this one. The set goes to k1llsen 3-0. Congratulations, k1llsen. And sorry to psygib for running into the k1llsen train. Valiant effort, but yeah, that was just all k1llsen, especially map number 3.
Absolutely. Map 2, I think, was the closest one, right? k1llsen had to struggle the most to get his win right there. The Insomnia game, psygib played it excellently, made really good use of the orb, constant pressure being applied, forcing out the ghost walk on k1llsen's end and trying to chase him down. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to get those final 2 frags on the board, but still, k1llsen had to work for it. This was not an easy series, and I think that some people, they tend to forget that, 40. They look at these matchups and they're like, oh, well, this should be easy, right? Because this player is number 1, 2, 3 in the leaderboards, and the other is down there at 8th, 9th, 10th position. No. It ain't easy. All of these players deserve to be in the Quake Pro League because they are the best in the world. So every single map, time and time again, it's a clean blank slate and they have to go all out. So k1llsen, well-deserved victory, but this absolutely was not a walk in the park, and psygib put up a commendable fight.
Completely agree. Nothing is promised here in the Quake Pro League. Everyone has to earn their keep. 15-4, the final score on map number 3 as we take a look at the summary stats as well. Big shouts to k1llsen taking yet another 3-0 to add to his collection for this season.
Indeed, and what a collection it has become. If you look at his player cam, right, k1llsen has got a lot of trophies on display behind him. Clearly, he wants to add some more to it for Season 3 of the Quake Pro League, because this man is on fire. Congratulations once again to k1llsen, but we're far from done with the day, 40. We still have Nasa versus Maxter, and then Wenger versus Rafa coming up.
Yep, a lot of Quake has gone down, a lot of Quake 2 go down. 2 series left, those are the featured matches, and Papa Wheat is back from grabbing cigarettes and gambling, so he will join us, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we'll get into the featured matches shortly.